Mythology Trivia Speed Round 10. Track how many questions you can get right. Question: what god was born from Zeus's thigh? The answer is Dionysus. Fun fact: after Semele died, Zeus sewed the unborn Dionysus into his thigh. Question: what was the name of the monstrous serpent slain by Apollo? The answer is Python. Fun fact: Apollo built his oracle at Delphi on the site where he killed Python. Question: what contest did Penelope set to choose a new husband? The answer is stringing Odysseus's bow and shooting an arrow through 12 axes. Fun fact: only Odysseus himself could accomplish the feat. Question: what legendary cattle did Hercules steal in his 10th labor? The answer is the cattle of Geryon. Fun fact: he crossed the ocean in a golden cup given by the sun god Helios. Question: what group of deities pursued Orestes for matricide? The answer is the Furies, Erinyes. Fun fact: they represented vengeance and the natural order of justice. Question: what group of warriors was led by Achilles' son after his death? The answer is the Myrmidons. Fun fact: their name means ant-men, said to be descended from ants transformed by Zeus. Question: which giant was punished by being chained beneath the earth, causing earthquakes? The answer is Typhon. Fun fact: he was considered the deadliest monster in Greek mythology. Question: who was the author of Agamemnon? The answer is Aeschylus. Fun fact: Agamemnon is the first play in the Oresteia trilogy. Question: who was Pentheus's mother? The answer is Agave. Fun fact: she carried his head through Thebes, thinking it was a lion's. Question: what goddess was known as the Breaker of Cities for her role in Troy's fall? The answer is Athena. Fun fact: she turned against Troy after being insulted by Paris's judgment. Question: who was Oedipus's wife and mother? The answer is Jocasta. Fun fact: in some versions, Jocasta took her own life upon learning the truth. Question: who wrote Electra, the story of a woman seeking revenge for her father's death? The answer is Sophocles. Fun fact: the story of Electra inspired later operas and psychological studies. Question: what creature was half woman, half bird? The answer is siren. Fun fact: early Greek art shows sirens as bird-like, not mermaids as later depicted. Question: who was Hippolytus' father? The answer is Theseus. Fun fact: Theseus cursed his son, causing his death, after believing false accusations. Question: What titan was chained beneath the earth after the Titanomachy? The answer is Cronus. Fun fact: he was imprisoned in Tartarus after Zeus's victory. Question: what was the name of Achilles' immortal mother? The answer is Thetis. Fun fact: she tried to make Achilles invincible by dipping him into the river Styx, except for his heel. Question: who guarded the golden fleece in Colchis? The answer is a dragon or serpent, Ladon. Fun fact: Jason defeated it with Medea's magic during the Argonauts' quest. Question: what mortal weaver challenged Athena and was transformed into a spider? The answer is Arachne. Fun fact: her punishment gave rise to the term arachnid for spiders. Question: what monster had 100 eyes and served Hera? The answer is Argus. Fun fact: Hera placed his eyes on the tail of the peacock after his death. Question: who was the primordial deity who personified the void from which all existence began? The answer is chaos. Fun fact: chaos was not disorder in the modern sense. It was the gaping nothingness before creation. Question: who was the muse of history? The answer is Clio. Fun fact: her name means to make famous, reflecting her role in recording heroic deeds. Question: which Greek god carried a staff called the caduceus? The answer is Hermes. Fun fact: the caduceus became a symbol of commerce and medicine. Question: which ancient poet wrote the Theogony? The answer is Hesiod. Fun fact: his works predate most surviving Greek myths and influenced later writers. Question: which Greek god represented the west wind, considered the gentlest of the Anemi? The answer is Zephyrus. Fun fact: Zephyrus fell in love with the youth Hyacinthus, later claimed by Apollo. Question: which goddess aided Odysseus throughout his journey? The answer is Athena. Fun fact: she disguised him as a beggar to help him take back his palace. Thanks for watching. Comment below to let us know how many questions you got right. If you like this video, tap like, hit subscribe, turn on notifications, and share with friends. See you in the next video.